Okay, Briterion Bollection is back, bitches, with Byron. Um, yeah, I'm your host, Kevin. This is Byron.
How's everybody going?
Um, we haven't done a movie one together, so we figured we should do one of those eventually, and we've decided today is the day for that. And so you're kind of the king. You're like one of the kings of the B movies, I would say. King of B movies, king of straight to Tubi movies, straight to Netflix movies. How do you find these movies?
I don't know if I would say I'm the king, but I'm just a movie person. You know, a lot of movies that go underrated. I'm
Right.
always looking for movies, and Tubi has a lot, originals. I've shared a couple of those to you and other people, and they're actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
I find movies just randomly.
Yeah. Like you kind of research and ones that catch your eye or the premise seems good, you end up
Yeah,
watching
I kind of
right?
just go off of first the title, and then I'll give it. Maybe I'll watch the trailer, and then I'll give it the first 10 minutes, and if it hooks me or so, after
Right.
that, I kind of just
Yeah.
watch it through at that point.
Yeah. So one of these movies you recommended that we watch, because basically, you'll come over every other week and we'll like get something to eat and watch some crap. Either
Right.
YouTube videos, movies you found, or music. Yeah. Right. So we watch a lot of old school music videos and stuff.
Right.
But then one day, a few years ago, you told me about this movie on Netflix, and you said it was called "You Get Me." Or I think you initially you said "You Got Me," and I was like, "You got me," and then I searched it up. I was like, "Oh, you get me," or whatever. Like I was thinking you're gonna hear the Roots start playing in the movie or something like
that. Would have went along well with it.
Yeah, like you could just see a montage of the white guy in this movie with that song. That'd be funny. But yeah, and then I remember I was like, "Well, what's it about?" I was kind of like skeptical when you were telling me about it, and then you were like, "Well, it's about this white guy," and then I was like thinking like why is this race so important? But then you were like saying like it is important because this is like something that can only happen to some teen white guy in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like this type of storyline, you wouldn't see it in any other race. I don't think. Especially in the U.S. You wouldn't see that. And then we watched it, and I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it was a fun little B movie. Um, and it has your girl Bella Thorne in it.
Yeah.
Who you weren't that familiar with her work up to that point, right?
No, I think that was the first I heard or saw her. So
yeah,
it was my introduction.
I had heard of her because she was like on Disney Channel before, and my sisters used to watch that, and I think they saw whatever show she was on, and then I saw she was in the movie Blended with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. She plays Adam Sandler's daughter. So I was like, okay, but then I heard like now that she's older, she was trying to like shed her image, like she was trying to shed her Disney image, trying to do more bad girl type of stuff, and I think this is what she was trying to do in that direction. Here's my cat Tom, by the way. So he was like, I saw that she was trying to do that, like heading in that bad girl direction, basically. So so we watched it, and I thought it was pretty good. So I'm gonna do the Wikipedia description of it. It's like a Briterion tradition, basically. So Tyler Hansen. You can't get a whiter name than that. That's the whitest fucking name. Tyler Hansen. I mean, Hansen was a hell of a white group. Bop. You know what I mean?
It's pretty white.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Tyler the Creator, that's, he's not white, but when you put Tyler Hansen together, that's fucking white. Yeah. Tyler Hansen is a high school student in love with his girlfriend Allison, Allie, quote unquote, Hewitt. One night at a party, he discovers she used to be a heavy partier and would often drink and sleep around. Tyler then gets angry at her after learning this, and they break up. Outside the party, like literally right outside the party, Tyler meets the mysterious Holly. They end up partying and sleeping together, and then spend the rest of the weekend bonding and having sex in her huge house. Holly tells Tyler her father died and her stepmother travels a lot. He says that the weekend was special before leaving, seemingly forgetting about Allie. And then it gets darker from there, I would say. So I guess this came out on Netflix in 2017. I hadn't even noticed it until you told me about it. And so the guy who plays Tyler, his name is Taylor in real life. Taylor John Smith. That, like, it doesn't get any whiter than that. I'm saying Taylor John Smith. Yeah. So the movie opens and we see a SoCal beach. I guess we're assuming this is like LA or something, near the beach. And we hear this voiceover monologue on the soundtrack. And he says, the summer before my senior year, I got lucky. My life became the California dream I've been waiting for. And then he met his girlfriend, Allie, who just moved there 6 months ago. And so that's Tyler talking. And, I mean, the dude who plays him, he's an alright actor. He's, like, competent, like, he's not great, but he's not horrible either. Like, he's, like, if I was just doing a straightforward movie, I think I would cast him, because he's just, his acting is, straightforward. And then he goes into Allie's house with coffee, and no one's around. And he's kind of scared. And then Allie comes out and scares him, like, ooh. And he's like, oh my god, you got me, Allie. And maybe that's a little foreshadowing for later on.
Right.
The darkness that comes later on. And so they do all this white shit together. They do yoga together. They see their homie who works at a juice truck or whatever. I guess he's, like, watching his little sister. Like, we see that he like takes care of his little sister. Like, his parents aren't around.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they work a lot or something. And his mom works late, so, because eventually his mom comes home and it's, like, pretty late. And when she gets home, he calls Allie. He's like, okay, we're going to the party. And they're like, yeah, we're going to the party. So I guess they're going to the party. Tyler and his boy are going to pick up Allie. His boy farts before she gets in. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
Yeah, he farts, and he's like, fan that shit out, fan that shit out. That's what Tyler tells him. And then she comes out. She comes out of the house, and the friend is like, damn, like, she's fine, or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, don't fuck this up. He tells him, like, he's like, you got it made if you can keep this together. So they get to the party, nice house, nice pool, it's popping party. And then all of a sudden this blonde dude comes out of nowhere, and he, like, bear hugs Allie or whatever, and then Tyler sees that, and he's like, what the fuck's going on here? Right. Like, and so he walks over, and he's about to, like, intervene or something, but then she's like, she introduces them. She's like, oh, Tyler, this is Chase. And he's like, hey, what's up, dude? And then the dude walks away, the blonde dude. And then he's like, who is that guy? And then she's like, oh, just someone I know from San Francisco. Whatever. And he's, like, kind of weirded out by it. Right. And so they're sitting, it dissolves, and we see, the party a bit more, and then he's chilling with her in the corner. And he's like, oh, I'm going to get another drink. So he goes over there, and then that Chase dude comes up behind him. And he sees him, and I guess he's getting, like, Bud Light or something. So he's like, oh, you're going light tonight, bro? That's what the Chase guy says. Yeah, that guy, he plays, like, the perfect asshole. Like, he just has that annoying face, And he was in the Purge, the first Purge, like, not the first Purge movie, but the actual Purge, like the first Purge that ever came out. Right. He's in part 1 Purge. He's one of the, like, jackasses who's, like, knocking on people's doors and stuff like that. Yeah, that actor. Yeah, he's like, going light, bro. He's like, oh, it's for Allie. Right. And then he's like, oh, I see. And then he's like, man, he's like, damn, times change, bro. He's like, you didn't know her from San Francisco, did you? And Tyler's just, like, frozen. He's kind of like, he doesn't know what to say. Right. And then he's like, dude, she sucked it like a champ, bro. He tells her, and he's, like, getting all pissed off. And he's like, oh, but you know all about that, right? Yeah, you've tapped that. That's what the guy's saying. And then that's the thing. Like, they haven't hooked up, or whatever, is the thing. Like, even though they're dating, they haven't actually done it. Yeah, because I guess she's trying to save herself, like, yeah. And so he's, like, sexually frustrated, and this guy's bragging all about it. He's like, you know that, you tapped that, or whatever. And just the disrespect, he
was at a whole time.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling that. And he says, like, oh man, he's like, you should go to San Francisco. It's ridiculous. And like Tyler, he's like, Pia, so he's hella pissed off from what he's hearing. So he walks away and he sees some chick on her own, and so that chick is played by Bella Thorne, who plays Holly. And she said she got ditched, and he tells her he just got humiliated upstairs, so they're kind of like in the same boat a little bit. Right. And it dissolves, and Tyler is sitting on his own, kind of depressed. He's kind of like, he's kind of like shaking from what he knows now. You know what I mean? Like, he knows, like, that I guess she's been with that dude, and she hasn't been with him, Right. And Allie walks up to him like, you okay? And he's like, you slept with that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you slept with him, but not me?
Yeah.
And,
right.
And she's, like, getting pissed off, too, like, that he knows that now, kind of, right. And, he's like, Chase, and Chase is like, what? Like, Chase is, like, drinking with his friends, and he's like, Chase, like, he's like, you, anything else you want to share about my girlfriend? No? Like, and he's like, dude, you need to chill out. He tells him that, and yeah, he's pissed off, and they walk out of the party, and Allie just tells him, like, it's over. That's what she tells him, and he's like, all right, fine. Like, he's just kind of, like, shaking there, and so he walks out of the party, and right as he walks out, he sees Bella Thorne in a car running right outside the party, and she asks him, how's it going? And he tells her, it looks like I just got dumped. And she tells him to hop in. And he's like, all right. And so he just jumps into the car, and they drive off, and all of a sudden he's happy. He has this big-ass smile on his face.
Yes.
And his boy texts him, and he asks what happened to you and Allie, and he says she dumped me. So he's with Bella now. And they go to a club. I guess it's a club because it's like, what age do they have to be? It's like over 16 club or something, like over 17 club, because they're still in high school, right? So but it's funny because she's dancing, and he's just there like bobbing his head. He's like she's like doing these moves, and he's just like, okay. And then she makes out with him and gives him a pill, like with her tongue, into his mouth, and he's like, whoa, what the fuck's this? And then he was like, I don't want this shit, but then she's like, oh, if you swallow, I swallow. He's like, okay. So he's like, I'll swallow that. Yeah. He's like, okay, then you're swallowing that. He's like, because I'm swallowing this shit. And then they continue to make out, and he looks like an idiot. Like, he's high from the pill, and he looks like fucking Schwarzenegger in Eraser when he's like drugged on the plane, and he's like he's making all these, or when he does that in True Lies too, when they drug him with the truth serum or whatever, they make him tell the truth, and he's like, oh, like, he looks like that. And then they go to the bathroom and they bang, apparently, because she unzips his pants and just goes to town. Yeah, you don't see that. It's below the frame. But yeah. Little montage with the music and the purple filter. It's kind of cool. And he wakes up in bed naked. Next thing you know. Right. He wakes up in bed, and I'm almost thinking this is the same mansion that they use in every damn movie. Is this the same mansion from Invasive and Fatale, too? It looks a lot like it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it looks a lot like it. So it's the go-to B-movie house, which we'll probably talk about Invasive and Fatale sometime, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then because he looks out on the horizon in the morning, he goes to the living room, and Holly is there looking at pictures, and he asks, like, where's her family? And she said, oh, this isn't my house. Like, I've just been house sitting all summer. And she kind of distracts him, like, he's asking too many questions. Like, let me show him the alcohol rack. So she shows him the alcohol rack, and he's like, okay. Like, yeah, she tells him that she broke in. So it's kind of like Invasive a little bit.
Right.
Is this like a prequel to Invasive kind of? You know, I think maybe it kind of is. And so they have a little picnic. She says her father died and never got to enjoy his life. He just worked, and her mom travels a lot. Apparently, she could be in London or Paris. He says his girlfriend never even met his family because she wouldn't get it. That's what he says. Like, she lives in another world. I guess he's trying to say that his family is poor and her family is rich. I guess that's what he's trying to say. Because that's all he says. He doesn't say, like, he just says she wouldn't get it. And I guess he hits it again. He hits it again after that. And he tells her he doesn't know what's going on with him, but what they shared was special, quote unquote. And she finishes his line, like he's saying it. He's like, I don't know. He's like, but whatever we have is, and she's like, special? And he's like, yeah. like she finishes his line and he smiles and kisses her. But she looks fucking pissed off. Like, after he kisses her and walks away, the look on her face, like, fucking kill this guy. The look on her face, she's really pissed off. And the music's all happy and he's like, oh, yeah, just got laid. He's like, he's strutting. He's feeling good, even though she's pissed off. You know, most girls don't like being used for sex, so you can't really blame her, I guess. You know what I mean? He thought he could just hit it and leave in peace. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, girls want to at least make it look like they're trying to have a relationship, you know, so it doesn't, so they don't look so slow. Like, yeah, at least look like you're trying to put something together. So he goes back home and checks his phone, and he has like 1 million missed calls. And Allie texted him, and she says, we can talk if you want. And he replies, like, let's talk, or whatever. So he's like, okay, like, clean slate. You bang that dude, I bang this chick, maybe we're on the same footing now, you know? So he goes to her house the next day, and she comes out, and she says, you know, I wasn't a virginal saint, you know? And she says she was a different person in San Francisco, but that's why she wanted to start over in L.A., and he tells her she should have just told him that. So they kind of get back together, basically, after that. And she says, she hugs him and she says, no more secrets. And he's like, you see his face, like behind her? Like, he's like, shit. Like, okay, yeah, no more secrets. Right. Like, starting at this point. Like, no more right now. So, yeah, the look on his face, he looks like, yeah, he's like, hopefully this secret doesn't bite me in the ass. That's what he's thinking. So then they go to school, and it looks like they shot this at like a junior college, like a community college or something, because it looks too nice to be a high school. Like, I mean, unless it's some rich ass high school that they found. And they hang out with their friends in the courtyard, and then he looks up because he's kind of like paranoid at that point. He looks up and it looks like he sees Holly walk by her, and he's like, whoa, was that her? Like, what the fuck? But he's like, oh, maybe I'm just being paranoid. Like he thought he saw her, but then he's like, oh, I guess that's not her. Like, after he sees that, he's like, oh, let's go to class. He's like, let's stop fucking around over here. Let's just go. Right. So he's like, okay, let's go to class. So he's in class. He's in science class, and then the teacher says like, oh, we got a new student, and then Holly walks right in, and she's like, yeah, you can sit there, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, you can tell inside he's freaking out, and she sits right next to him, and he's like, what the fuck? And then he asks her like, what are you doing here? And she tells him, oh, my mom decided to stay in town, and he's trying to like smile and laugh it off, but he's fucking shitting his pants at this point, I think. Oh, here you go. And then he's at lunch with his friends, and his boy brings her to lunch. He brings Holly and introduces her to everyone. Tyler's like, what the fuck? Like, can't get away from this chick. And she does a little like twist here, because they're like, oh, this is Tyler, and she's like, oh, me and Tyler go way back, and everyone's like, what? Like, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, he's freaking out when she says that. And she's like, yeah, like, way back to first period. Like, I met him in first period. And they're like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh. He breathes like a sigh of relief. And they all laugh except for him. He's like, fuck. It's like, stop fucking around. And they have that one nerdy friend who does photography. That's like a cliche, high school shit, high school movie. And he texts Holly to meet downstairs. And so we cut to, she's waiting there for him. And I actually like the silhouette of that shot, believe it or not. Like the red background reminds me of three colors red. And he goes downstairs, he gets there, and she just starts making out with him right away. And he's like, whoa, we gotta stop this. Like, what we did over the summer was fun, but I didn't know me and Holly would get back together. And she's pissed off about that. She's like, fuck. So, yeah, word to the wise. If you have an argument with your girlfriend, give a little waiting period before you hook up with some random biatch. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, wait. Don't
run out the door yet.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah. Especially not like that. So he goes to meet Allie, and Holly is with Allie. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell's going on here? Yeah. And they're like becoming best friends. And he's like, what the fuck? And his boy is there, his boy Gil. And then she starts making out with Gil in front of him. In front of both of them, and he's like getting jealous, kind of. He's like, "Oh, she's like trying to make me jealous, but making out with my friend." And Allie, like he's dropping off both of them, like he's dropping her off at the house, and Allie tells Tyler like, "Oh, like Holly's gonna come with me, like we're gonna do girl talk or whatever." He's like, "Girl talk?" Like what? Like he's freaking out. Like, girl talk, and then she looks at him like, "Yeah, like girl talk." He's like, fuck. Yeah, like it's like the scariest moment you've ever heard the words "girl talk" in a movie, I think. And Allie runs out, and Holly's like, "Yeah, girl talk." And, yeah, like hearing her say that is like scarier than him seeing it or something like that. Like her saying "girl talk." And yeah, and so Allie and her are hanging out in the room, and Holly says, "Oh, Tyler seems like a great guy." And she says, "He has his moments, but he's a really good guy." And then she asks, "Oh, but how is he in bed?" and then she says, "Oh, like we haven't got to that yet." And she's like, So it's like her telling her that. It's like she has that power. I've slept with your dude, and you haven't even. Yeah.
Did something.
Yeah.
You were supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, Tyler is about to drop his boy Gil, and he tells him to hold on, like before he leaves. And Tyler basically tells him the whole shit. He's like, "Okay, this is what happened." He says that whole thing, and his boy's like, "What?" Like he's like, "Really?" Like he's like, "Yeah." Like that night I left the party. He's like, I hooked up with her, and so like he thinks he's like he thinks he's lying because he's like, "Oh," he's like no, you're full of shit. He's like, you just think that she's messing with me just to get back at you or something like that. No, like she really likes me, dude. He's like, watch out for her. He's like warning him, and he's like, no, she likes me, bro. Like, and he says he has to tell Allie, but then Gil is like, you just got back with Allie. You can't tell her now. like you just fucked that up. You just prepared it. Like you're gonna tell her now, like it's gonna fuck up your whole shit. Yeah. And so Allie and Holly, they're still hanging out, eating popcorn in bed. And her mom comes up to check on her. And I guess they felt like they had to cast like a hot mom to like be her mom or whatever. It's like they felt like she had to look somewhat like her. And Holly says, "Oh, she seems upset." But then Allie tells her that she's just checking in on me because I used to be a mess, quote unquote. Like what kind of mess? Like lesbian action mess or what? Because like why would she freak out if she's there with another girl? Yeah. So yeah, and she texts Tyler that Holly is spending the night, and he's like, "What the fuck? Like spending the night? Like he's freaking out." And it's creepy because we see Allie asleep, and then the camera pans over, and Holly's just staring at her. Just like not even blinking. She's just staring at her as she sleeps. And that's where you can see that they're trying to do like a Fatal Attraction kind of type of thing.
Right.
But high school, somewhat. And then Tyler is at home the next morning and he sees Holly outside his house. And I almost thought it was like a nightmare or something like it. But then no, she's like really there. Yeah. So he runs outside and he's like, and she's like, "You're not going to invite me inside?" And he's like, "I would love to say hi to your sister." And he kind of grabs her and like shakes her. He's like, "Stay away!" Like he kind of like pushes her to the floor. Yeah. And she's like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And Tyler is at the school at the drinking fountain, and he looks fucking ridiculous. He's drinking the water. He just looks ridiculous. He overhears this Mrs. Viola talking to the principal, and he knows that's her stepmom or something. Like, I guess he heard that that's her name. Her name is Holly Viola. He's like, "Oh, Mrs. Viola." So he hears her talking to the principal, and so as she's walking out, he walks up to her. He's like, "Oh, Mrs. Viola." And she turns around. She's like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, how do you know my name? And he says, "Oh, I'm a friend of your stepdaughter." And he kind of tries to make small talk, like, "How are you liking it over here? Huh? It's different from Oakland." And she's like, "Oakland?" He's like, "What do you mean Oakland?" She's like, "We're from San Diego." And he's like, "Oh, like, that's interesting." Like, I'm sure she fucked up some guys over here, too, before she went over there. Right. And Allie tells her friend Lindsay that Holly spent the night, but then she was gone the next morning when she woke up. And Lindsay says she has a bad feeling about her. And then Holly, like, when they walk up, they see Holly, and Holly can kind of sense something. Like, Holly doesn't like that Lindsay chick, the nerdy photography girl. So they're all having lunch. The Allie, Holly, and the nerdy photography girl. That nerdy girl, she starts having a seizure. Like, she starts, like, shaking, and they're like, "Oh, what the hell's going on?" And everyone's, like, trying to help her, but then Holly's just looking, like, just staring, all pissed off at the scene. You know, she must have done it. She has something to do with it. Yeah. And so Tyler's freaked out and pissed off, and he texts Allie that he thinks Holly did something to Lindsay. And Tyler walks through his house in the middle of the night, and he has these, like, 70s blinds in the hallway. Have you ever seen those blinds that come, like, in the hallway? Like, it would be, like, right there, and they would, like, shake down, like, those beads or whatever. Did you ever see that before? Yeah, I remember we had those. Yeah, I remember we had those when I was a kid. I mean, somehow those went out of fashion. Or I guess they were, like, more from the 70s, kind of. Yeah. And Holly sees her mom in the kitchen. So that is her house. Like, she was lying to him, saying that she's squatting. And so because it's that big-ass house, and the mom is, like, putting her in her place. And they have an argument, and Holly pulls out a knife. She pulls out this big-ass knife, and she's trying to threaten her mom, kind of. And her mom was kind of like, "Well, what are you going to do with that?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm just trying to make a salad." Like, that's what she was saying. Tyler and Gil are talking, and he says Holly's been blowing him off, his friend. And he tells him that she has a past, so stay away from her. And Tyler walks up to Allie, and Allie tells him, "Oh, like, did you hear? Holly's pregnant." And he's like, "What the fuck? Pregnant?" Like, the look on his face is fucking horrifying. Right. And it's funny that his girlfriend is the one who tells him that. Right. You know, no one else, not Holly. Yeah, right? Yeah. She's the one who tells him. Yeah. Just to freak him out even more. And she said, she's like, "Oh, she said the guy's an asshole who used to beat her and bruise her or something." And now he's like, "Shit, that was me." Right. So now it's just not a good look overall. And Holly and Allie are hanging out by the pool. And Holly asks Allie, she's like, "What would you do if it was Tyler's baby?" She asked her that straight up. And then when you see this and hear this, you're like, what the fuck? Like, she's fucking crazy just to ask that straight up. But then she, like, corrects herself. She's like, oh, like, if it was yours and Tyler's baby. And she's like, oh, okay. Like, well, like, they do little twists like that. Like, she'll say something a certain way and just to make you think that, yeah.
It's all playing with the mind. That's what.
Yeah, they do little twists like that. And Tyler visits Lindsay in the hospital, and he asks if she thinks that the smoothie thing was an accident, and she tells her no, I think it was done on purpose. And Holly goes to Tyler's house again, and he's pissed off, so he like slams her on the ground, and her mouth is bleeding. And he kind of took it too far there. Like, he should have just been honest with his girlfriend, like, way before that. And just said the whole, like, said the whole thing. Like, oh. Because I think if he did that, she would have been pissed, but she would have understood it more. Right. Instead of him, like, dragging out the whole situation. Right. Just fucked everything up. And so he texts Allie that they need to talk. So they meet on the beach, and it's kind of weird that they would just meet on the beach, and she's already standing there when he walks over there. And he just walks right up to her, and the first thing he just says is, I slept with Holly. And she just says, I know. And then, like, you're like, what? Like, he's like, she showed me the pictures. Pictures of you sleeping, pictures of you with her family, and she's like, what? And so, yeah, it was a nice little twist there, what they were trying to do. And so they're crying on the beach, and she says, don't ever talk to me again. And he's left alone there, and he drives back home all pissed off. His hair looks like shit, too, when he's driving. Like, it's like the wind blew it all, so it's like, he looks like fucking Wolverine there. And Holly is texting him, and he's just sitting in his room in the dark, alone, and Holly texts him, now we can be together. But he keeps ghosting her, and he's at school the next day, and she walks in saying, oh, you're going to wish you texted me back. And then this black lady who works for the school and this black security guy are at the door of the class, and so that lady is Garcelle Bouvet, Fancy from Jamie Foxx show, right? And she's from our favorite R. Kelly video, too, right? Down Low. We in no way endorse the monster that is R. Kelly, but Down Low is a great ass song. And and it's a great ass video. It's one of the greatest videos ever. But it's funny that these are the only two black people, I think, in the whole movie. It's Garcelle Buffet and the security guy. Yeah. Yeah.
It's as black as it got.
Yeah. And they take him outside, and he's like, what's going on? And they say, oh, I'm going to have to ask you to clear your locker immediately. And then he gives this big-ass cheesy smile. Do you remember that? He's like, he just starts giving this weird big smile. He's like, what? Am I in trouble? Like it's horrible acting. It's like, what the hell is he doing? He looked like he turned into Joker when he said that. Like, he had this weird big-ass smile. And she tells him, like, you're being suspended indefinitely. One of our students accused you of assault. Elizabeth Viola has accused you of assault. And he's like, who? And she's like, Elizabeth Holly Viola. And he says, unbelievable. And then he goes back home and he Googles that name and he finds shit on her. So he Googles Elizabeth Holly Viola, and yeah, he finds like her backstory in San Diego that she fucked with some kids, and then she like AIM messages him. She sends him some instant message and she says, having fun yet? And he texts her back the link that he found about her. He texts her back because it says violent attack that she did on another student. And she was in a mental institute. Like, he starts sending her all these links to that. And she says, cool. Do you know what I'm going to do next? That's what she texts him. And then he, like, closes his laptop. He just slams his laptop, all scared. And we cut to Allie's house, and she's paranoid there. It's nighttime. She closes her sliding door where the pool is, and she has tea on the kettle boiling. And this part almost reminds you of Scream, at that beginning of Scream with Drew Barrymore with the popcorn. I think they're trying to kind of go for that in that scene. And Tyler texts her, "Stop ignoring my calls. Holly is not who you think she is." And Holly calls her and tries to console her. And she's saying, "I'm here for you." And it sounds like she's inside the house. We can hear a door close, and the sliding door is unlocked, so she locks it. And she goes to the kitchen, and all the burners are on the stove. Like, all the fire, you can see all the fire is lit on the stove, and she's like, it's like she's trying to act like a ghost or something. Like, she's like trying to possess her house. And she walks, and there's some broken vase on the floor. And then she gets grabbed from behind and just cuts to black. We don't know what happened there. It cuts, and we see Tyler pacing in his room, and he gets sent a Snapchat or something like that. It looks like a Snapchat, and it's a message. So it's like some sort of message that expires because it like counts down, and it says it says, "Hi boy, like meet him at Allie's house." And so he's like, "Oh crap!" And so Holly has Allie tied up at her house, and Holly says, "He tried to tell you, but you didn't listen to him, and you believed everything I said, even the baby." So I guess the baby is bullshit. She was just saying that just to scare Tyler, I guess, and try to get sympathy from her too. And Holly or Allie says, "I thought we were friends." And she says, "Oh, I know he loves me." And she says, "No, he doesn't." And then Holly slaps the shit out of her right after she says that. She's just like, psh! Like she's just like Shay, like, "I'm slapping the shit out of you," like that. And then we see some headlights pull up, and Holly knows it's him. So she tapes Allie's mouth, and Holly goes looking for him. But then her mom walks in and sees Allie tied up, and she goes to untie her because she's like, "Oh, I don't know what the fuck's going on." So she's trying to untie her, and then a bag goes over her head, her mom's head, and like suffocates her, and she dies. I'm assuming because she passes out after that, and Tyler is still on his way. He drives hella fucking slow, this guy, and we see Holly loading a gun in her little shrine. She has like this like this mantle that looks like a shrine there. I guess that's just trying to show that she's crazy. Right. And Tyler finally parks and walks in the house, and we see Holly on the floor by the fireplace wearing her pink sweater and panties, and that's it. And they talk, and he asks what she did to her, and she tells him she wants to have that same getaway together that they had before. And he's like, "Where's Allison?" Like, it's funny because he calls her Allie, but then now that he's serious, like, "Where's Allison?" Like he uses her full name. Yeah, changed up. And she says, "I'm listening to you, but I want you to tell me what you want. I want us to be together." And he starts yelling at her, like, "Where is she?" And some blood drops on him, and he looks around like, "What the hell?" And he sees Allie hanging from the ceiling in some weird ass position. And he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And so, it's like weird that she would be hanging like that. Like they're trying to make it look like Seven or something. Like she's some serial killer genius or something like that. It's like just some high school chick. Right. Like I mean, they're trying to bring in that true crime element to this, but it's like, dude, this isn't like that. Right. Yeah, this isn't like that grandiose. You know? Right. It's a high school movie. So he brings her down somehow, and Holly doesn't do anything. She's just like standing there, and then she like just walks away, and he's checking Allie's pulse, and I guess she's okay. Her heart is still beating. She's still breathing. And then she's fine. And then she's like up and running around. Like, it's like, what the hell? Why are you acting like you're dying? Like, you're fine. So they walk around and they see Holly's mom dead in the kitchen. So they're like, "Oh shit, she's evil." Right. She pulled a Menendez here. and Holly is walking around with a gun throughout the house, and they go to the pool area, and Holly sees them and points a gun at them, and then he tells her, "Oh, that night we shared was amazing." And Allie's like, "Dude, I'm right here. Like, really, you're gonna talk about your night that you had together with me right here?" And she can't tell who she wants to shoot. She's kind of like, "Okay, should I shoot your ass because you're an asshole who dumped me, or should I shoot her ass because she's with your ass?" Like, she's kind of like, she doesn't know who to point the gun at. And then Gil comes walking down the stairs, and it like scares her, like hearing him walking down the stairs, and so like she's like, "Oh," and so the gun goes off, and you don't know who she hit, and it just cuts to black. So you're like, "Okay, shit, like who did she hit with the gun?" And then we hear the dude talking about love. He's like, "Love is a strange thing," and we see Tyler on the ground with a shot through his right shoulder. So I guess she shot him right there, and he's just standing there, like he's sitting there, like he's frozen, even though it's like, dude, you're not dead, like you're good, like he just got hit in the shoulder, but he's freaking out, like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Like he's just like he's just like frozen, but his lips are like quivering, like he thinks that's good dead acting or dying acting. Yeah. So she just got him in the shoulder, but technically he could have still died from that.
Yeah.
Like, Selena, like she died from that. Like she just got shot in her shoulder and she died.
Wow.
Like the way it hit her, like that bullet, it hit like a nerve that's right there. And she it just got the perfect spot. Like if it was like a centimeter to the left or right, she wouldn't have died. But it just hit her like right in the perfect spot. So if you get hit in the shoulder, you can still die. Right. Yeah. So he's like just freaking out there on the floor, and basically Holly is in the ambulance, and there's another black guy. It's this black EMT guy. So he's there. She's like being on the stretcher. He's putting her in the stretcher in the ambulance, and he's asking if she's okay, and she's like, "Don't leave me." She tells him that, and he's like, "I'm not going anywhere." He's like, "I got you. I promise." And then she kind of does a little smile, when she hears that, because it's like, "Oh, you got me, you get me," know? And then we cut to they're having a party for his little sister, and he has like a sling. He has like the, broken arm sort of thing. And everything's all good now, and they're all happy, and that's basically the end of the movie. We hear this Purity Ring song on the soundtrack from their second album, which I wasn't expecting, which is like, that's kind of weird. I wasn't expecting that, but it's kind of a cool song. And I noticed that the dude Brian Robbins produced this, and he's actually directed Varsity Blues, so you can kind of see the teen element kind of there. So I guess that's why it's kind of, good in a teen sense. I saw some reviews on this, and some critics trashed the hell out of this. They're saying Brian Costello of Common Sense Media calls the film a mess from beginning to end. Eddie Straight of the Daily Dot says this film is no fun, and further criticizes the film not only for lacking in originality, but also dullness. Felix Vasquez Jr. of Cinema Craze described it as an abysmal entry into this ridiculous subgenre. And although the film aspires to be Fatal Attraction, it barely registers as a Swim fan clone. That's what he said about the movie. But I think it's a fun B movie, honestly.
I think the title fits it. You get me. You have to get something to like it.
Yeah.
So I think the critics that don't like it,
they didn't get it, right?
In my opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
If you get what it is, it's not like you said, it's not a grand movie, but for what it was solid.
Yeah.
For a B-rated movie,
it
was solid. We're not saying it was a grand movie. We're not saying that it's up there. We're not saying it was the most awesome acting, but for the type of movie it was, it kept me engaged. Yeah. And that's, at the least, that's what you want. You want to be engaged in a movie. Were there some things that could have been better? Of course. But overall, I think it was at least a decent movie. And, the ending and some of the stuff, it could have been, maybe done differently to bring it out a little bit more. But overall, the premise was good, and there is some realism to it to me. Guys do jump from relationships fast, maybe not like instantaneously like he did, but that
but
does
they
happen.
can't rebound.
That
fast.
does happen. Like if a hot girl ends up in your circumference,
right,
in your location, like a day after, then you might just give into it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And where that leads you to, in his case, it led him down a dark road because he got her pregnant, or he thought he did, and the whole thing became, he ends up getting back with his girlfriend. So then it becomes like, and then she happens to be good friends with her, so everything just kind of flipped on him. The minute he got with her, that was the wrong girl to rebound with, because not only of them having their one night stand and that going bad, but then she's friends with his ex-girlfriend.
Right.
And so it was just like, it came full circle. So it was like, he thought he did a good rebound, but it was probably the worst rebound you can do since, is how I look at it.
Yeah.
But I still think it was solid.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't, watch this expecting Oscar-worthy shit, but expect something fun. Yeah, something entertaining. Something you can drink a beer to.
Don't take it too serious. Just take it for what it is. It has some funny moments, There's some realism to it. And obviously the acting is solid, and like you said, some of the people are known. Bella's known for what she's done. Right. A few other people, you said. Right. So, some of these people were up and coming and at that time, and they're probably a little bit more established now, but this was a movie that from their level at that time, you can appreciate. I would think they would be better actors now.
You would think.
That was 2017, so people grow up too. Like, you're judging them when they were still new, probably, to acting. At least most of them were.
I mean, it's said that acting, it's not like sports. Like sports, the older you get, the worse you get, right?
And acting is the opposite.
Yeah, the older you are, the more experience you have.
All the people we like,
acting
Denzel, Johnny Depp, they got better with time. Mm-hmm. They didn't get worse because you acquire the skills of acting. Sports is different because as you age, your skills can diminish. Yeah. And acting,
because it's all about your body.
It's not about body. Unless you're doing a whole bunch of physical stuff, then you just do a different type of role.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not about your body physically. It's just about knowing the skills of acting.
Right.
How to capture a character.
Yeah. Emotion. Stuff like that.
Whatever the character tells.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for You Get Me. Yeah. Should have been You Got Me, and end theme should have been Baby Don't Worry About Me.
Maybe we can make our own version and put that song in.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah, I can imagine that in the trailer, like a montage with this, and you hear that, and then as the movie gets crazier, then you can hear the Questlove drumming, like,
I feel like movies in general need to, like, capture songs, and some of them do, you have good scores, but I'm saying, like, find good songs. And a lot of songs that we like, hip-hop songs, fit the actual movie. That one obviously fits it because of the title and the title, but I'm saying there's other songs that, even if the title doesn't fit, but maybe the beat, what the words are.
Tone.
It doesn't have to be the exact title of the song.
Right.
It's just the tone of the song, the beat that's made. To have that in the background would just be, just make the movie go up a little bit more.
Well, that's what I feel like would make me a great director, is because
having the ear.
Having the ear for music.
And you've told me there's a few songs that you already would want to incorporate.
Right, exactly. So, and not just that, especially with hip hop. I would like to use a lot of hip hop songs because I feel like people in the movie industry don't know hip hop that well. You know what I mean? They use the hits and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
They're not well versed.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go with some underground songs that only people that know hip hop would be like, I get that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Everyone else can be like, what artist is this? It's kind of thrown off by
exactly. Like, I have a plethora of songs I could reach for if I need it for a scene that people have never even heard of. So
from Gangstar to whoever else,
to like East Flatbush.
Yeah, whoever.
OC.
Anybody, Mos Def, Traveling Man, there's a lot of different songs that we like. And when you look at these type of movies, it's funny, a lot of hip hop songs do fit that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hip hop songs that literally fit themes of movies, titles of movies.
Right.
And, I could probably think of some right now if I really thought about it, but there's definitely songs out there.
Yeah. Just Hollywood, they just go with the easiest answer. The lowest common denominator.
Hollywood, to me, it's not going in a good direction. You know, and I think it's not because you see a lot of sequels and you see a lot of remakes, and originality has been lost.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think you do have some people like the guy who did Sinners, Ryan Coogler. I mean, I didn't see Sinners, but I'm just bringing him up because even though they said that's a comparison to Dust to Dawn, I talked to a few people and they said it's still different. So I feel like people like him are trying. Even Jordan Peele, when he did Get Out, that was kind of different, right?
Yeah.
It was race, but it was like a horror. Like,
yeah.
I just like people that push the envelope and do different stuff. And those two guys kind of stand out right now that are, I think, trying to do that. You know, good or bad, because Jordan Peele, not all of his movies were good. You know, Get Out was great, and I think he's working on a new one.
Yeah.
But I feel like he pushes the envelope and trying to do something original.
So yeah, at least he's trying to do something original, which I respect more. Yeah. And actually, I just heard Get Out. It's on this new list of like top movies of the 20th century or 21st century so far, and it's in the top 10. It's there. So.
It's highly rated. I was just talking to someone about it, and he's like, "That movie's
great.
It's really up there for that.
Yeah,
for that person I was talking to, coworker. It's like, like it was hard to kind of like live up to that. That was what he was saying.
In a way,
like Nas doing Illmatic. We talk about that album, right. Champion. Nas can't beat an Illmatic. You know, he did Stillmatic, and it's not better than Illmatic. You know, so you know when you set the bar high from the gate, it's kind of hard. It's what you want to do, but then you're always going to be trying to living up to that. And I think Jordan Peele did that kind of with Get Out. You know, it's his best film, I would argue. But yeah, has he beat that out? I don't think so. Not yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's about it for You Get Me. Thank you, Byron, for joining me. It's a pleasure.
Every time. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Peace out.
Bye.